by the Ad Council.
It's the In-Wheel Time Car Show. Thank you for joining us on this 4th of July. We got our little 4th of July thing going on here.
I like the music.
Thank you very much. Kind of groovy, huh?
I was going to say kind of jazzy. Maybe a little Al Jarreau-ish.
Okay. Yeah, it could be.
Spyro Gyra.
Okay.
That was the name of a band. The
It
name
was?
of a jazz band.
Okay. Only you would know that. Do we have Gina ready?
Yes.
Hello, Gina. Well, we got to get your sound turned on.
It's on.
Don's running the audio.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hi, Gina.
Hello, how are you guys?
Well, we're doing good. Gina, I want to talk to you briefly about an event that you've got going. I assume that it's online. Is that right?
It is. It is an online event. We have reworked the last race and we're presenting it in a different style and adding some commentary to it and explaining some things.
I love
it. To race fans.
Yeah, yeah. And there'll be some special appearances by some special guests throughout that, I understand, as well.
Correct. I've collected some selfie videos that we're plugging in. We're just kind of trying a little bit different formula on the online style and that we have. We had extra cameras at the last race to get some different angles I wanted to experiment with that, and later down the line, plug them into the pay-per-view or the online experience.
Yeah.
And since we weren't racing, I went to Race on Texas and said, hey, can we rework that video and plug those in now? And they said, sure. And then Rodney did some narrations of some things I wanted to clarify and explain, like the cone. I don't know if y'all read that NASCAR is bringing the cone to Bristol, which, Don, you saw the cone.
Oh, my gosh. I love the cone.
Yes. That makes all the difference in the show for me.
It does. And it's so much better than this sucky segment thing that NASCAR's got going on. Not to put it down. It's just not. I'm not a big fan of that.
Right. It's confusing. The segment thing is very confusing.
It is. Oh,
what the cone did.
Yeah.
The cone, for like an example, in the modified race, Paul White. He got black flags sent to the back because of a gas cap. Someone forgot to tighten the gas cap.
Right.
So he went to the back. Well, the next caution came out and he took the outside line and went straight back up the front, and he finished in the top 3.
So for people Gina, for people that don't understand, explain where and what this orange cone does.
Any time that there is a caution in a race, then once we get the lineup where it's supposed to be and they're going around the track, we bring out a cone. It's just the orange construction cone. It's laid at the start finish line, and as the racers approach, they have to decide, do they want to take the inside line, which is typically racers like, it's the fastest way around.
Well, it's the
track.
shortest
route around the track.
Yep. Or if you're in the back and your car's handling great, maybe they want to express on up to the front. If you're in 6th place and on the front 5 go in the inside lane, you could be on the outside pole.
Yeah.
Straight. So it shakes it up a little bit. It makes it more interesting. And then Bo he showed me an article that NASCAR was doing that at Bristol. And so I thought, yep, we're going to explain that, because we had a camera mounted on the cone as one of the angles I wanted to.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I remember that. I watched the guy put that on there. I'm thinking, is he going to put the camera on there? Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir. I was excited to do that.
Don't hit the cone.
No, we did have someone hit the cone, but the camera survived.
Yeah, exactly. So I have to ask you, so where can we see this presentation this afternoon at 3:00?
At 3, you just click onto NASCARHouston.com, and I have a big link. It says click here to watch online, and you click there.
Yep.
Are y'all there?
Yeah, we're here. We can hear you.
Okay. It takes you right to the video.
NASCARHouston.com, 3:00 today. How long is the show? Is it an hour or 2 hours?
It's about, we chopped up the races, so it should be probably a little over an hour. Not as long, because we just kind of took the races and then plugged in a few things. So
perfect.
Yes, I'm excited about it. It's definitely a different format, and it's kind of something for us to learn from because this is the direction I wanted to go with it.
Well, I'm excited about it. When you told me about it, I thought, well, we got to have Gina on. We got to have as many people watching as we possibly can. So, that's this afternoon at 3, NASCARHouston.com. Gina, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for taking the time out. We appreciate it, and we'll see you this afternoon at 3 o'clock.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for everything you do. I appreciate it.
Thank you, hon. Bye-bye. Calling all car, truck, and Jeep clubs. We'd love to feature your bunch in our car club spotlight. Just shoot us an email. That address is info@inwheeltime.com.
Give you a chance to come on the show on the phone or on Zoom. Show us who you are, what you do, and we know that a lot of clubs have a charitable association and give you an opportunity to talk about them as well.
Yeah. So we'd love to hear from you. So please feel free to do that and include, obviously, your contact information, and we'll get your bunch on the show. In Wheel Time is going to continue right after this little snappy break.
Do you know what teens just love? Not being told what you're supposed to love. That's not anyone's business but yours. It doesn't matter what you love, but if you love it, click it. That includes you too. Because in 2018, 42% of Texas teens who died in traffic crashes were not wearing their seatbelts. Make sure everyone is buckled up. Every rider, every ride. Brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Texas Truck Works is your go-to truck customizer. From mild-to-wild lift kits, custom wheels, and steering and handling enhancements to the best personal and commercial wraps, Texas Truck Works delivers. Let Texas Truck Works founder Scott Stevens help you get the most out of your truck or Jeep. Texas Truck Works has decades of customizing experience, including power adders and complete engine swaps. Let the Texas Truck Works team design an upgrade plan that fits your budget. Get truck attitude today at TexasTruckWorks.com. Welcome, everybody, to America's award-winning car talk show, In Wheel Time, your weekly go-to all things automotive place, along with Mike Out of This World Mars down there and King Conrad along here. I'm Don Armstrong here. So glad that you could join us on this 4th of July as we celebrate, hopefully safely, all masked up, which we're not, but we're trying to social distance as much as we possibly can and do a, I was trying to think the other day, what exactly do you call our show? It's not radio. It's not video.
It's the award-winning automotive show
Talk
in
show.
Houston.
It's
Talk show.
It's video.
Video.
Uh-huh.
Very good.
Very video and radio. Audio. Video. Well, it is. I mean, so, and Jeff holding up a sign over there called porn. Okay, car porn.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what
going to
it
go
is.
with car
Yeah.
porn, yeah.
Car porn is it. All right, so what we've done is we've this is our 4th of July mashup show, so we're not really focused on one thing. Next week, by the way.
Yeah, Don, it's difficult for you to focus on any one thing for more than a minute or two.
Well, not only that, but I mean, leading in with anything that says porn, and it makes me nervous. And so
We're going to go a different direction.
I'm
in this
you know,
segment.
I'm in the same room with these guys, and I'm good. We'll keep it on the car subject.
Please.
So Mr. Mars decided that he wanted to share with us, and actually it's pretty cool, I think, old school drag racing. And apparently, and I didn't know this when I met Mars, I just found out actually in the past year or so that Mr. Mars actually spent some time at a racetrack that I used to spend some time at called the East Tex Dragway up in Porter, Texas, up off of 59. Was that the closest drag strip to you?
Official drag strip, yes, because the Golden Triangle drag strip, which was there in town by us between Nederland and Beaumont, it shut down mid-70s, 75, 76. I don't remember the exact year. About the time, right after we got out of high school.
Yep.
And then from there, you had to come either to Porter, to East Tex, or you came over to Dickinson. There was a track there. And then over in Lake Charles, they started running some stuff over there at the Chenault, the old Chenault Air Force Base. And we would go over there occasionally because a lot of the local alcohol funny cars and stuff, particularly out of Louisiana, would come down to there because they had a lot of room. So, yeah, technically it was. That was the closest one.
Huh.
Well, and what that took you what, hour and a half, 2 hours to get over there?
Yep. And we would typically have 3 to 5 cars. We would caravan over. We didn't make it every weekend, but depending on which cars were still running by the time the weekend got there, because a lot of these were street cars, we'd run them on the streets back then.
Yeah. Well, of course we all did because we didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And my buddy Ross Putnam, he's the one that had the '55 Chevrolet Coupe that had the hopped-up engine in it, but most of the time it didn't run. And when he bent all the valves, the push rods, that was the end of that. But we would just go, as a bunch of us, in the Buick Skylark.
And do one-wheel burnouts.
And we would not. We would go all 5 of us, 6 of us sometimes, in this little bitty car all the way up the East Tex Freeway out there to Porter and park under the trees because there was no official parking lot.
No.
The parking lot is the pits. And so it was all in the trees, in the pine trees up there. And then the drag strip would just cut out in the middle of this pine tree forest. And that's all houses now.
And watch the races.
Yeah, and we were in trucks with open trailers and stuff, so we'd bring barbecue pits and ice chests, they didn't care, and get out there and spend the day barbecuing and racing.
And the safety back in those days was not what it is today.
What safety?
Well, I'm sure it was a track, and all it had was Armco barriers on both sides.
Yeah.
Wasn't that correct?
Yeah, those things that
there were pine trees on the left-hand side going
really?
down the
Oh,
track.
yeah.
That
My
was a safety
gosh.
barrier. So, I got some pictures and stuff. We lost thousands of images, in Harvey, but I've got a few of them. And so we're gonna show
They're
them.
the boys there. You're taking the picture here.
No, that's me on the left. Now,
Oh, my God, look at his hair. Was your hair red? Did you dye it red?
You got to
Oh, it's
remember,
like
this
he's got
is
a cap.
This picture's 50 years old now.
Yeah, right.
And this is an example of life's lessons. And I'm saying this is because one of the guys that was involved in all this passed away the last week, 2 days before he turned 62. And his car's in here, and I was putting something together, so I kind of got a little nostalgic. But this is kind of where we started. My littlest brother tore up that car while my parents were out of town. He lost control of it. Centered punched a culvert in reverse, knocked the rear end out and everything. So we called, he was at the hospital. We had to call, and then Dad said, okay, it sounds like it's totaled. We said, okay. Well, we had a use for the engine, so we pulled it out before they got home. That's when I learned.
Before they got home, we pulled the engine out.
He said it was totaled.
Dad said, without looking at it, Dad said it was total. Well, forget it. We're not going to deal with that anymore.
Well,
Just pull the engine out of it.
Exactly. That's when I learned that the insurance companies, when they total a car and they buy it, they want the whole car. They don't want just part of it.
So they said something to
So
you about it.
It was a lesson learned. Right there.
Well, and another lesson learned is at least today you have a shirt on.
Yes, I do.
That's just today. Anyway.
So this is the 69 Chevelle that we were bringing over here to Porter and stuff. Big block, 4-speed, had slicks on it, and we were building it, thinking that we were hot rodders. Again, this is in the mid-'70s.
Looks like something out of Roadkill.
Well, it was something that we could afford to build and tear up.
Yeah.
Now, the guy that was helping me with this, my buddy on this, Wayne Curitan, we were working at his dad's shop. His dad always thought having an automatic was, that was a big deal. He moved up in the world when you could afford an automatic. So Wayne never really learned much about standards. So this is what he learned to drive a standard in. 4-speed.
Yes.
At one time, we had 456 gears in the rear end.
Oh, my Lord.
And of course, it's a big car, and it's heavy, and 396s, 427. So we would go out on the street behind the shop to see how things were. And that's where I taught him how to drive this 4-speed manual transmission.
And you also learned the part about burning the tires off.
And that's right, to figure out how to do the slicks and all that stuff and figure out how to launch it, because it was completely different, for a guy that grew up driving automatics.
Did it have a Positrack in it?
Not at this point. It didn't.
So
just that one-wheel burnout.
I'm telling
one-wheel
you,
burnout.
we got some of those.
And
and
we
so-
rotate the tires and just swap sides.
Well, or you go through the ditch, and that's where he lost it and kind of went off through the ditch. And that was one of the last times that he
That's
actually
the second
drove
ditch
the car.
story you told us about.
Yeah, the other one, it backed it into the ditch.
Yeah, that was my little brother, and he did that.
Yes, on-ramp acceleration test.
So so this is the car we ended up going to the track. This is at East Tex there at Porter. You can see the pine trees and stuff off in the back. That's part of the area over there, and you can see how the cars are parked and all the people hanging around there. And
Nice.
that's really what it was. It was kind of a deal. You can see the right
There's
rear
the
tire
right
line.
rear tire line.
I was going to say it's a little bit out of line there.
Well, there's a lot of stories that go with this, but if you look down the track, it's pine trees on both sides. It's a fence on the right, and that's where people would back up to and watch out of there. That's really where you would do your
Well, they had a
tailgating
very
stuff.
small little football, like a 3-row viewing
Grandstand.
area.
Yeah, that was it.
grandstand. Yeah, that's it.
So it was kind of. This is Larry Netterville's car. This is one of the cars that go there. This is the
66
only
Chevelle.
picture I got of it.
66 Nova.
It's got a small block in it with a tunnel ram, but that's the only surviving picture out of all the floods and everything else. That was one of them that would go over there. So we had the Chevelle, we had the Nova.
Looks like you kind of trimmed the wheel wells to fit the slicks.
Well, you do what you got to do, you know.
With a hacksaw.
So, and this is Tommy, the guy that just passed away. This is his 68 Chevelle. This is one of the other cars that went over there. He had a big block in it. Again, 4-speed.
That's a pretty good-looking car there.
It had a really nice paint job on it, kind of a metallic brown. He was very meticulous about his cars and stuff. You know, it would run. He got it in low 13s, I think is what he would dial in sometimes. Got a few extra pictures. There's the tower.
Yes, the tower.
That's
I remember. The red tile roof.
And you got a fence on this side, and you got part of a guardrail, then you got the track, and then you got the pine trees on the far side. No, really, you couldn't park on the far side. They didn't let many people. They had the ambulance over there, so not too many people went over there. No concession stand.
Well, probably needed the ambulance on the tree side of things.
You know, that's the way they could get down there. And Tommy's car, like I say.
What year do you think that was, Mike? 75?
Now, it was a little bit later than that. That's probably getting up closer to close to 80. This is the front engine dragster that the guys next door built. They come to all the races and stuff.
It's now a barbecue pit somewhere.
Yeah, small block Chevy, injectors, front engine, built it in their garage. They went and got the chassis and all that
It's the
stuff.
rail job, man.
Yeah,
It's the
I'm
rail
telling you.
job.
So they built this car, and he actually, there's two brothers that went in together to do it. The other brother had a 70 Roadrunner he was racing. James, the older of the two, on the right in this picture where they're trying to get the injectors to work, he actually took the car to Dickinson to get his license to drive it in competition. Don Garlitz signed his license for him.
Oh, cool.
And unfortunately, he kept it in the glove box of the metallic red, metal flake, old school metal flake red El Camino he used to tow this thing with, and somebody stole it. The driver's license was in the glove box, so he lost the car and that.
So is that like an old Hilburn injection system on this?
I believe it was. Yep.
Really?
It's single car
Well,
garage.
it wasn't old at the time.
Yeah, well, no, not at the time. Well, plus, look at this. This is a front engine dragster, so you're straddling the transmission, bell housing, transmission, and you're sitting on top of the differential.
That's it. You're sitting on top of the 9-inch. It's a Ford differential because there's no back cover, and it's sitting right there where your junk is, and your legs are over the axle housing.
Yeah.
Because it's a brake handle and a gear shifter. And that's it. There's nothing for your legs to do except get in the way of stuff. And that's how Garlitz and all these people lose half a foot and everything, was doing all that stuff. So, they built it in a single-car garage, Porter, 100 miles away. So you got to go out and test it and see what's working. So you go out in front of the house and crank it up.
And smoke the tires in front of the house.
Well, you got to figure out how to drive it and how to launch it. So it was a really interesting little deal. You're killing over there.
Well, that's actually a pretty
It's a
amazing
cockroach
car
that-
when you look back today, because that car would not come close to passing safety specs
No,
in today's world.
no.
But even going to Porter back then, did you really have to tech the car in, or was it more grudge racing?
Yes, there was tech.
There was tech.
It was at the time, at least it was something.
They had a starter there and stuff. One of the stories, the Chevelle, when we first were going over the Chevelle, Hearst had an inline shifter. It was ratchet, forward, backwards, and forth. So then it was really, that's where they're out there testing it in front of the house.
Right there in front of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
repaving the street.
I'm sure the neighbors love that.
Well, they thought it was better than us being out there drinking and stuff. So they really didn't. We never called
So you're
going
to tell us that you weren't drinking and working on the car?
No, sir. We were not. All the money went into the cars. See, there's James's El Camino, the one with the metal flag.
Oh,
and
cool.
This is back at East Tex, where he was up there. He could come up there and get his practice runs in and stuff to get ready to go get his license.
Them were the good old days, Mike.
You could actually do some of that stuff. And wish this thing, can you move it a little quicker, Jeff? Will it move faster? So this is the old school fire suit.
Oh, yeah.
That's his little brother putting him in the old school fire suit.
Looked like a baked potato in there.
Exactly.
Inside all the aluminum foil.
But that was what was going on, for those kind of cars. And
again, talking about the safety regulations have changed so much over time.
Oh yeah, I mean, between the bell housing and everything else. Of course, that's his little brother out there watching him. I mean, you're not going to go to a track these days and get that close with no wall or anything else in between you, so that you can sit there and watch, doing the burnouts or anything
back
else.
there. Did you see them?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some metal ones out there and stuff, but you can see how the trees are and stuff. It was a gorgeous place.
It really was. I love going out there because even in the hot summertime, you're underneath the pine trees.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And it was really an interesting place to be.
So when did that track close?
I don't.
Early 80s.
If anybody knows, go on our Facebook page and give us an update on when that track closed, because we'd really like to know.
Yeah, because we were actually we'd already moved into buying houses and getting married and all that kind of stuff by that time.
Yeah, it's all going downhill by then. I'm sorry. Is Becky listening to the show? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, Becky. Never mind. So we've got Ram Tracks coming up after a quick break, along with Conrad's Car Clinic. So I invite you to stay tuned here on the In Wheel Time Car Show.
911, what's your emergency?
God, there's a train that just hit a car.
Sir, what is your location? Look around for a street sign, sir.
It's 8th and Orchard. 8th and Orchard.
Okay, very good. 8th and Orchard. Sir, help is on the way.
Why would he do that? The train still hasn't stopped. You have to get there now.
At a railway crossing, even if the engineer sees you and hits the brakes, it can take a mile for the train to stop. And for you, that's too late. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
In Wheel Time Car Show. Actually, we were playing this exact music up at Porter at the East Tex Dragway. I remember that distinctly, turning up the AM radio as loud as it would go. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Show. Thanks for riding with us today. Time now for our Ram Tracks feature, In Wheel Time's weekly look into the Ram Nation. Mr. Mars?
So one of the things to do with the heavy-duty Rams and the type of loads that they will haul, weight-wise, I mean, a half-ton truck doesn't haul a half-ton. It almost hauls 2 tons now.
Yep.
So, but if you got stuff in the bed, sometimes you got to tie it down. You got to cover it up. Well, you can go down to Harbor Freight or wherever, and you can buy a little bungee cord thing that
they got those jack stands that collapse.
Oh, yeah, right. They're right down the aisle from that.
Right down the middle.
Or you can go out, and I found a thing called Gladiator Cargo Net. Now, this is a cargo net. And
how much is that?
Oh, shoot. Where did I put that?
Oh, don't ask the important questions.
Yeah, don't ask me the important stuff.
Because that thing
it was like $150. So this stuff is heavy duty. I mean, it's got straps. It doesn't have little bungee cords that you reach over there. And
it's like a whole mess of bungee cords put together.
No, it is strap
Nylon
material.
Kind of like tie-down straps.
And it's got tie-down straps that you can actually hook to it to tie it down. So this will be like if you're moving furniture or anything else.
Or if you want somebody
over the back.
Or somebody wants to catch you as you're diving out of the second story of a burning house.
Right. And you buy it size. Since it's not a bungee cord thing that you do, you can buy it by different sizes depending on the size of your bed. They actually have 6 different sizes.
Do they have the king size? Do they have the queen?
Yes.
Or
Double X large.
Double X.
Now, this is 10 foot by 18 foot. So, I mean, if you've got a pile of stuff there that you need to tie down, this thing will do it. And
you're doing some 4th of July moving, this is the thing for you.
That's right.
In Needville, right? I'm going to move, so I'm going to get an extra large bungee cord.
So, anyway, if you're hauling a big load, you need something. You need to go out and find the cargo net. That's the sizing chart right there. And that's kind of what it looks like.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
And it hooks into the inside, all these cargo management systems. It'll tie into it. But you can see how big the straps are on that and how it'll tie down, and it'll hold stuff.
You could put bodies in there and tie them down.
Ooh, that's a thought.
No comment.
Yeah, just saying.
So anyway, that is gladiatorcargo.net. You can find it several different places out there, but that's the name of the company, gladiatorcargonet.com.
All right, let's move on. We got Conrad's Car Clinic. What are you talking about today?
Do you recall the recall? I read this on Haggerty the other day.
Recall the recall.
Yeah. Because there were some pretty ridiculous recalls out there.
Well, the airbag thing is one that comes to mind.
Not just that, but back in 2001, GM had to call back a bunch of Chevrolet Sonics because they in the installation
because they were
of the
just
vehicle,
bad cars.
The brake pads fell out. So they were delivering cars, and during the installation, the brake pads would fall out, and they'd still put them on and ship them. So Chevrolet had to recall them. In 2015, Lincoln recalled the MKC because the button that they used to shift the transmission, or the on-off button, was on the center console as opposed to up on the dash. So people would inadvertently turn their vehicle off while they were driving down the highway, thinking they were pushing a different button. Oh, yeah. And you've talked about that before, how the placement of that start button is pretty important.
Yeah.
Honda Audacy back in 2014 had placed the Honda Audacy name tag on the left side of the back of the vehicle, where through all the other years it was on the right side. So Honda recalled it because they thought that somebody looking at the vehicle may have thought it was repaired from a rear-end accident, and whoever it was put it on the wrong side of the vehicle. So they recalled it and moved the badge to the other side.
Oh, my God.
Toyota Camry in 2013 had a problem with a AC drain that would block up, that would cause air conditioning condensation water to leak into the airbag system, and it could either turn a light on or deploy the airbag. So what did they find that caused that leak? Spiders nesting and building webs inside that drain tube.
I just killed one, ran across here just a minute ago.
So that spider can cause a recall. So they ended up having to redesign that drain tube.
It was a spider recall.
And then Mazda 6 had more spider problems before the Toyota. Mazda had an issue with a specific breed of spider called the yellow sac spiders that were building their nests in the evaporative canister line vent that would cause the check engine light to come on, that the evap system wasn't working.
What kind of spider was that?
The yellow sac spider.
Yellow sac spider.
I'm not going to go there, but the Corolla actually had a recall that was caused by
the arachnophobia recall.
In the 90s, Toyota recalled the Toyota Corolla because if you spilled your drink, the airbag module was mounted underneath the drink holder in the center console, so you could damage the airbag module. Not that airbags were going off, but you would affect the performance of the airbag module, and it might not go off. So recalls are safety, but recalls sometimes are a bit of silliness as well.
Well, silliness, yeah. And you would think that through all of the engineering process that somebody would have said, you know,
that's just a bad idea.
Putting it right there might not be the best idea.
That was by somebody that doesn't have any kids.
Well,
apparently.
Well,
or dogs.
Think about Don's Corvette, because this is one I was involved in back at the beginning. When you talk to people about C5 Corvettes, they mounted the battery in front of the passenger side in the front wheel well area. And General Motors is notorious for doing side mount batteries that would leak acid. So as the battery would leak acid, it would leak acid on these two huge harnesses that would pass underneath the battery, as well as the PCM was underneath the battery. So if that acid leak went on for a long period of time, in some instances, you'd probably just total the car because it would destroy both of those harnesses. But they never recalled it for that.
Way to go. All right, coming up next, we've got auto history. If you're a member of a car club, we want to put your group in the car club spotlight. All you got to do is shoot us an email, contact information to info@inwheeltime.com. After this, we'll be right back.
Uh-oh, Brad's